Gentlemen, hello and welcome to the CSL. I'm Joe Laguitas. I'm joined here today by Fear Dragon, and we have a terrific playoff match coming for you. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good because we got, as you said, a really awesome match. It is going to be the one and only University of Florida facing off versus Temple, and definitely two of the really strong teams here in the CSL.
Yeah, absolutely. Florida, probably a bit of an underdog here. Temple is just one of the strongest and deepest teams that we have here in the CSL. But Florida's going to try to put their best foot forward, try to make something happen. And I think, they've made it to the playoffs. They've shown they have a very real shot at making something happen, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, currently our first match is slated to be Havoc versus Rays, and I think a lot of people are familiar with Rays, captain for Temple, and of course, really strong Terran player. Uh, Florida's Havoc, I want to say that he has been in GM before, and I feel like I say this every single time I cast him, and I always forget to check, but we're going to find out how good he is. I do remember that he was at least a pretty decent Masters League player, if not a former Grand Masters League player. Currently is unranked, so we'll see how things go.
Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our purple Terran player for Temple University. It is Rays.
And his opponents find down here in the bottom right corner of the map, we have the yellow Protoss player. Give it up for Havoc from University of Florida. And of course, players just letting me know, first player is Rays, because we had a little bit of trouble, I think, with Florida submitting their lineup on the website, not because they didn't try, but because I think they just had some other trouble trying to get it submitted. So we ended up having to do it the old-fashioned way, where they whispered me their player names, and of course, for some reason during that time, it became a meme that Rays just let him to let me know as many times as possible that the first player for Temple was going to be Rays.
Yeah, it's actually a bit of a disadvantage him doing that because CSL is played in that pro league style. So typically the opposing team doesn't know who their first, second, third, and fourth opponents will be when they lock in their choices. But Ray's throwing caution to the wind. He feels that he's got the leg up, and he's probably right about that. Anyways,
Yeah.
Havoc. I was saying Havoc popping in here for a quick scout, but Rays has got the SCV up at the front. He's going to try to make that probe go away.
Yeah, one of the big fears over here for Rays is just that the pylon rushes have been very annoying to deal with for many a Terran player. But we don't really see anything super quick coming out. We do have a Zealot finally starting up, so this may turn into something. Havoc can come back in with that probe a little bit later on, and the Zealot pretty much guarantees you're going to be able to get some form of damage with that pylon rush, but Rays is going to have his first Reaper popping out and should be able to push everything back.
Yes, indeed, going for that command center on the natural expansion. He's not worried about anything coming out at him. He knows that with the map control that the Reaper does afford him, he'll have plenty of advance warning for anything coming across the map, and he can just kind of kite endlessly against a unit like a Zealot if it were to be coming out.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern anymore, especially at this stage in the game, since we don't really see anything actually moving out across the map. Zealot's just going to be going after the SAV, trying to pick it off or get some kind of damage on. Havoc did not take his second gas geyser just yet, which does lend him toward potentially, I guess, getting up a couple additional gateways a little bit faster. Looks like the Zealot's going to be able to catch the SCV also in the natural expansion, so that's a dead scouting worker for Rays, but Rays has his bunker going up, his command center's finishing up, and he's also throwing down his starport, so we're going to be seeing some pretty quick drops coming out of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rays is a player that we know likes to go for those really precisely timed drops that aren't just designed to kind of pull your opponent around. They're designed to hit really hard and do specific amounts of damage, hurt your opponent in specific ways, and he likes to follow up with further and further precise aggression. He is going to be setting this Reaper and get the scout off that the SC wasn't. He's actually going to manage to get a probe off that, which is really nice.
Yeah, well done. Keeps the Reaper alive. There aren't a whole lot of pylons inside the mineral line to actually photon overcharge, nor are there many pylons inside the natural expansion to photon overcharge. So this is going to be a bit annoying to deal with. Stalker should force the Reaper back, but if Raze is controlling this well, I don't actually think he's going to lose that Reaper anytime soon.
Yeah, and Reapers do have those drugs, so they get outside of combat. They're able to do some drugs quick and restore all their health. And now they're going to swing right back in here, and if he can get another probe, that's just going to feel absolutely fantastic for him. It looks like he does manage to snipe another probe with just this one Reaper.
Oh, try 2 more probes potentially over here, Joe, because there we go. Another worker goes down. Stalker may finally be able to cut it off, but that Reaper still has quite a bit of health. Zealot does get a couple of swings off, and the Reaper is even turning around, greedily firing at more workers before making its way out of there. Raze has done a considerable amount of damage over here, because it's not just about the damage he's done to that worker mineral line. Look at the minerals that are building up for Havoc. He has 1,000 minerals built up, and now the middle mine drop is about to be coming out. The forge, a robotic facility, gateways, trying to come down drastically, or as quickly as possible. But he's just so far behind on his builds. He's not going to have an observer for this.
Yeah, and I think the mental damage here is absolutely devastating, and it's only going to get worse as this Reaper pokes in. Once again, he confirms that the Stalkers are not in position, and that's going to let him know that it's safe to go ahead and drop that mine in the natural area.
5 workers go down, and Widowmine does drop out in time. It looks like it's going to get picked off, but 5 workers killed additionally to the damage that the Reaper had done earlier on. And now we are sitting at a point where Havoc has 25 workers to his opponent's 40, and Raze wasn't all-inning. He wasn't heavily committing to that aggression. He wanted to get some damage done, but he has a 3rd command center on the way. He has a siege tank and some Marines on the defense. He is going to be absolutely A-okay, and even kept the medevac alive.
Yeah, and now the next stage of this aggression is going to be a Liberator. It looks like the Mothership Core is in position to Photon Overcharge it away, but with what? There's no pylons on the ground, and that means he's going to completely deny the already strangled economy at the natural here.
Yeah, shield upgrade coming out for Havoc. I wonder if we're just going to be seeing some kind of straight up all-in coming out, and I don't really blame Havoc if that's what he decides to go for. Probably could reallocate some of that Chrono Boost onto the Forge if he wants to make use of that, because he is just so far behind. If he doesn't do something with the small bits of an army he has now, or get some sort of tech advantage, I don't actually think he can really bring this back against a player like Raze.
So we talk about him going for some kind of all-in, but he might just be trying to hold a 2-base push like desperately here. Raze is going to be pushing up with 2 tanks and a squad of bio. There's nothing really to defend this natural. I don't think Havoc is able to step down here and try to deal with this. So it looks like the Raze is just going to kind of move onto this natural uncontested. A bunch of Stalkers get move commanded into that army. This is looking very ugly for Havoc.
It's at this point that I just want to note in terms of resources lost. We have 375 minerals and 100 gas lost right now for Raze. And his opponent is almost up to 3,000 minerals lost and 700 gas lost. So, about 10 orders of magnitude times larger in terms of resources lost. GG gets called. Raze takes game number 1 for Temple University.
Yeah, really impressive control out of Raze. That was one of those games where just having the better micro and the better efficiency and engagements, like he kind of ended up bopping his opponent a little bit there. But really good game out of him. Temple goes up 1-0, and that's going to mean that University of Florida has to win at least 2 matches in a row here if they want to have a chance to stay alive in the playoffs.
Yeah, they definitely have to win one of the next 1 of the next 2 matches for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I
want to stay alive. All good. Of course, it's getting close to Friday, so everyone knows you never math on stream, especially not close to a Friday. But our next game is going to be between, I believe, Bexby and Tesla, also known as Rob. I don't know if he's in-game name change, but should be an interesting one for the next match.
Yeah, so we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the CSL playoffs.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL playoffs. We just saw Temple take their first game in the series, putting them up 1-0 over the University of Florida. Coming up next, we've got a PVT between Rob and Bexby, and I think this game could be a lot of fun here.
Yeah, you know, Rob, also known as Tesla, or formerly known as Tesla, is a pretty damn solid player, and he is a GM level player. Also probably voted the most cheesy player on his entire team. And Bexby, not exactly like a Diamond League player or anything. He is a top Masters 1 player, I believe, so should have a pretty good match on our hands.
Well, we are into the second map, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our yellow Protoss player, the cheesy troll himself. It is Tesla, playing for Temple, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought he was making a joke about the map. This is like an actual concern he's having.
Yeah.
Game paused.
Yep, alright, we're gonna remake. And this is, of course, just to make sure that both players have optimal ping. I guess I'll change my settings on that.
Yeah, I'm making sure that my region is the same as well.
Oh, your region doesn't matter at all, man. It's only the host's region when they hit the create lobby button. That's the only thing that matters.
Okay. I thought it was like a vote system.
No, it's not.
Today I learned.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's never something that they actually advertise anywhere. So it was something that had to be learned through trial and error.
Undocumented features.
Okay, but regardless, we are going to be hopping into Belshare Vestige for this Protoss versus Terran. And one thing that we've talked about with Tesla in the past is just the fact that he has this huge capability to take games off of players that many people would consider, potentially better than him, or, just really, really strong players. But he also has the potential to lose versus players that many people consider not quite as good as Tesla normally. So I really want to see how this is going to go, because you always wonder which Tesla is going to be showing up for today's match.
Yeah, so I think with Tesla, there's kind of a scale of how meme he plays, right? And he has to hit the perfect, correct amount of meminess. If he tries to take it too seriously, sometimes, he's not really playing his style that he knows and loves. But if he gets too silly, he can drop games to people that are worse than him because, he thought it was funny to build a proxy Tempest at the gold base.
Yeah, it sometimes can get a little bit extreme. We'll see which Tesla showed up today.
Well, spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our yellow Protoss player for Temple. It is Tesla.
And his opponent spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Terran player. Give it up for Bexby.
So while we're here in the beginnings of kind of this game here, Fear Dragon, I want to talk to you about a really cool contest that that CSL is holding. So as you know, ASUS is a big sponsor of the CSL, and they've given us some really cool stuff to give away. They're going to be giving away 3 ROG, that's the Republic of Gaming, their gaming laptop line, GL502 laptops. Now, if you're interested in winning one of these really high-end laptops, which I believe are about, so they're about $1,500 if you were to buy one new. The way you can enter the contest is by creating a video of your favorite plays from a teammate of yours on the CSL, or yourself, if you happen to be a video editor and you have some really cool plays. So what you can do, I'm going to put the link up in chat if you guys are interested in, is you can go ahead and click on that link that I just put up and go read the rules there. Basically, there's 3 winners of the grand prizes. The team that submits the most entries will get a box of ROG swag. So you might get like some cool hats, some keychains, that kind of stuff. And yeah, go give it a look. If you need a new laptop, this is a great opportunity to get one for free. And who wouldn't need a nice new laptop in college?
Oh yeah, and of course those Republic of Gamer laptops are pretty damn beefy for all of the kind of gaming needs. I know I actually have one myself, so would highly recommend it. But here we go. We are hopping into this game, as we do see pretty normal looking stuff, but ooh, we do have Rob getting into the main base, scouting out. Okay, you're going straight up to that factory. No second barracks or anything super weird coming out, but also sees the command center and should feel pretty confident about how this game is going and knowing that there's not any kind of weird cheese coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Bexby going to be moving across the map with his Reaper. It's his turn to scout and get some of that crucial information here. And he's going to start poking around, sees that the Nexus is just about finished here, and he's going to hop up into the main base and see if he can pick up anything funky going on.
Yeah, Adept is going to immediately scout out that Reaper and push it back a little bit further. Now, it's also worth noting that you can't jump straight into the main base on this map with that Reaper. You have to go through that kind of natural expansion at least. So if Tesla does a really good job, or I should say if Rob does a really good job, same person, then he can try and deny that Reaper a little bit longer, gets a couple of shots off, but the Reaper is going to get into the main base and scout out the Stargate.
Yeah, that's a huge find for him. Obviously, when you're making oracles out of a Stargate, which I think is typically what you'd be looking to do in a PvT, they're just a lot more powerful when they come as kind of a surprise attack, when they have that element of surprise. And a lot of the times when you see them get scouted, they'll just skip the Oracle and go straight into Phoenixes because they're a bit more stable of a unit. They can function whether or not you know they're coming.
Yeah, it looks like it. Ooh, Tesla gets the Adept into the main base because the Widowmine was on top of the supply depot the moment it showed up there. And now this Adept gets, I mean, it gets a bit more of a scout. I guess the main thing that he sees is, okay, there's no tech lab on the factory. I know there's not siege tanks coming out. He even gets out with the Adept and might even pick up another worker kill. Really, really nicely done. But he should probably be able to guess at this point, okay, you got a Widowmine drop coming. Let's be real about this. Gets the Adept back in the main base, and it will get picked off, but should have seen those Widowmines been popping out and should see the timing of that medevac.
Yeah, he may actually eat this Widowmine shot right here. That's going to be a bit unfortunate for him. But I mean, that Adept was on its way out. I think he's going to be absolutely happy with the information he was able to trade that out for. And
yeah, normally you're sacrificing that Adept for maybe 1 or 2 worker kills, or you're just killing off like a Marine or 2 and then backing up. But being able to kill off, what was that, a worker and a Reaper, and continuously get a scout out on that army, that's really nice. And you can even see that Bexby left one of his Widowmines at home, the one that killed that Adept. So Rob really shouldn't have too much trouble dealing with this. He knows it's coming. There really is not going to be much excuse if he ends up taking too much damage.
Yeah, and with the Phoenixes, he will be able to chase down that medevac. Oh, lifting off that mine right away is absolutely brilliant. We do see the Photon Overcharge go down, and now these Phoenixes are going to be able to chase this medevac until it's over land and can drop its Marines out. This is just really solid play out of Tesla.
Yeah, kills off the medevac. 2 stranded Marines got nowhere to go but home at this point. And I guess the last 3rd Marine does walk its way over to the remaining 2. But Tesla, or I should say, I keep saying Tesla, for those who don't know, Tesla, his former name. But Rob, going to be sitting really, really far ahead at this point, I think.
Yeah, now it does look like he's going to be moving onto the map with these Phoenixes, taking a bit of map control, getting some scouting information. It doesn't look like he's going to be doing any kind of mass Phoenix play. It looks like they were just to kind of push out and chase down that initial drop. He's not continuing to produce them, but now he is going to catch sight of this first Liberator out here.
Yeah, he is going to start back up on Phoenix production. I guess he was just halting it a little bit while he got up his 3rd and got up some other forms of tech, knowing that he could halt production for a little bit. But it does seem like it's going to be a very, very standard style these days. It's going to be Phoenix Adept and Protoss versus Terran. Also getting the double forge for those upgrades is going to be nice. But the main idea about this is that it's a very strong mid-game composition. Phoenix can chase down medevacs, they can shut down drops, and they can also handle those Liberators. And if you are really on point, you can lift up those Widowmines before they really get shots off them. The Adepts just kind of clean up everything on the ground. But the one thing this army does struggle with is transitioning into the really, really late stage of the game.
Yeah, although when I think about Tesla, he's not a player that I think of that likes to play for the super, super late stages of the game. He likes to either go for something crazy early on or kind of find that mid-game where he just has a really, really powerful army that punches really hard and just try to bludgeon his opponent to death with it. That was a nice pick-off.
That's a really nice pick off. Those Liberators are not going to be coming out that frequently, and Bexby, I think, just lost his only Liberator, is now just continuing that medevac production, but he even lost one of his earlier medevacs. These Phoenix are not going to halt the aggression, and going to continue to not only look for those SCV pickoffs and the Marine pickoffs, but hey, if they can find those Widow Mines, or sorry, the medevacs once again, and get some shots off on those, that'll be a really, really nice pickoff, because again, the more starport units you pick off, the harder it is for a Terran player to get Liberator production going or Viking production going.
Yeah, these Phoenixes are just doing such a good job of being aggressive without really losing anything. I don't think he's lost. Okay, he has lost one Phoenix so far, but he's gotten so much value out of them. And they're a unit that continues to snowball as you can keep your Phoenixes alive. And you can just poke in and dart in and out. And, ooh, bit of a gateway explosion coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, all the gateways are finishing up because he is getting ready to move into the massive Adept Warp-ins. And of course, it's going to be tied up nicely with Bexby, who seems like he wants to do a bit of a push out right now. Not only just chasing after those Phoenix, but trying to clear out the map and make his way over to his opponent's side. Because he doesn't really have a third expansion on the way. His big goal right now is let's get an insane amount of damage done right here, right now. The problem is, I don't know if his armies are really going to be big enough. There are going to be so many Adepts warped in pretty soon, and Rob already has 1-1 upgrades finished up. He's got the upgrade lead. He's got an army supply lead, or at least is an even army supply, but that gateway production, like you were saying before, it's going to be a lead pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Bexby, if he wants to try to make something happen, he needs to go right now, and he needs to maybe feint in and then bounce around to where Rob's defenses are weakest, try to take advantage of the mobility that those medevacs offer, but it's going to be really hard no matter how he does this.
Oh, Adept shading on in and gonna bypass all the Widow Mines, but do end up canceling the shades. There is a Liberator inside the third expansion, able to kick up 6 worker kills. Definitely not too shabby right now for Bexby, shutting down all the mining at the third. This is a good start so far.
Yeah, but he's going to need more than 9 probe kills here, as he does have 3 nexuses of worker production, does Rob. He's only just 2 probes behind, and he can just crank them out so much faster than his opponent.
Yeah, that is very true. Rob is only sitting down he's sending up 1 worker now. Widow Mine's going to be very annoying and do a little bit of damage to Rob's army. Is there even an observer with his army? I guess there is an observer, but it's on the other side of the map, so I guess the Adepts will just shade on through and kind of ignore everything else. But, oh, Adepts trading in, not really in the best angle, and there aren't actually as many of them as there really need to be. So many of these other units are still shading in. This could be the big engagement that Bexby was asking for, but now the rest of the army shows up, and it's not looking quite as good for him.
Yeah, the Immortal offers so much firepower from the back, especially dealing with those Marauders here. And now it looks like Tesla's going to continue this push up into a very well-fortified position. Widow Mine's going to start going off, taking some Liberator fire from above. The army of Tesla's definitely been whittled down, but it looks like he wants to keep up with this aggression.
Yeah, this is where it does get a little bit tricky, though, because he doesn't have a Warp Prism. He's not going to be able to reinforce all that quickly, and even a couple of good Widow Mines hits could make a difference, but no, GG gets called. Rob is going to take game number 2 in favor of Temple University.
Yeah, congrats to them. That puts Temple in a position where they only need to win 1 of the next 3 maps to take this series and move on to the round of 4 or 8?
Round of 8.
Round of 8, okay. Move on to the round of 8 here. So guys, we will be right back. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Band Gaming. You can find them on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Lots of really great social features. So if you're interested in trying to make your CSL team a bit more organized, go check out Band Gaming.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. All of your wind has gone, and all of the past drawn, I've sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
And, oh, I'm sorry about that. I had us muted. My apologies, everybody.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going?
But we were just talking about that Tugboat and Centaur have a really specific strategy they like to use in just about every 2v2 matchup. Tugboat just makes a million lings and they stream across the map and do early damage. And Centaur tends to follow it up with a really Banshee-heavy aggression that hits just a little bit later. And so far, it seems to be pretty effective. I think they've won most of the 2v2s we've cast of them.
They have definitely done pretty well, and it's a really scary thing because it's on top of the fact that they have two insanely strong 1v1 players of Rob and Raze, the two brothers that end up doing quite a bit for Temple University, and they are backed up by a solid 2v2 team. It's a really scary thought.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough to topple, but I think if Dead and Seeker want to make something happen, this is a terrific time to do it, to get the ball rolling, mostly because if they don't, the game and the series will be over.
Yeah, this is the only time to get the ball rolling. So we'll see what they can bring out. Looks like the first probe is moving in, getting a scout out, and does confirm the natural expansion, which is always a little bit of a relief. Obviously, you can't always guarantee too much information from it, but if he was paying attention, Dead should have noticed the workers that were also mining over that natural. That usually is a sign that, okay, you're not about to get all in. There are some speedling all-ins or baneling all-ins you can do for heavy aggression earlier, but generally they don't involve saturating your natural.
Yes, indeed. And now it looks like Tugboat going to be going out for his turn to try to scout and get some information. They don't know where their opponents are yet, but they might have a good idea just based on the way these units are running back to base.
Reaper moves forward. They do pretty much confirm exactly where the spawn is of their opponents, and it looks like the Reapers may be able to find a nice angle if they move straight in to the top left-hand side of those gateways in the wall.
Well, it looks like they're going to be putting a bit of pressure on here. This Adept is going to shade right past them, so not too worried about this aggression is University of Florida as they move out to scout onto the map here. Back at home, Centaur firing up that cloaked Banshee. That is kind of his signature style like we talked about, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a lot of Banshees to go with this Reaper Hellion aggression.
Yeah, looks like the Adepts are going to have a hard time getting into that main base, though. They may be able to move in and scout out the fact that there is a tech lab with Cloak and Banshees being made right now, but it really depends on whether or not Dead controls that Adept and tries to move it over to the front and try and get that Adept up the ramp.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Seeker and Dead going to be going for a bit of a push out here as well. We see some Adepts and some Cyclones coming out. It's going to be reinforced with more Cyclones and Hellions. This is a really interesting push. You don't typically see that early game mech / Adept push in StarCraft.
Oh, really nice shots from Centaur's Hellions. So even though he does lose a couple of them, he gets some good damage done on his opponent's Hellions. I mean, considering 2 Hellions went down for that, definitely worth it. But oh, not losing the tech lab. That's actually a really, really bad sign right now for Centaur. Because, yeah, there isn't a whole lot of anti-air, but 2 Cyclones may actually be able to take out a Banshee.
Yeah, especially when it doesn't have Cloak to fall back on here. And he's going to be limited to the production of just that one Banshee. There will be no more Banshees in the immediate future here, and that could be a bit rough. This attack is it's really impressive, clearly timed out, and just super, super powerful.
Oh, but Dead does not have a lot of defenses back at home. And where's his mothership core? It looks like it is back at home, and there are some foot overcharges to throw down. The Banshee's not being controlled. Centaur loses the Banshee and may very well be losing his main base pretty soon.
This is just so tight. I'm loving how the Adepts offer all this DPS from the back. The Oracle even coming in here to help out. And I haven't seen this attack before in 2v2, but I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see it if University of Florida makes it to the next series.
Yeah, you have to remember, Tugboat does have 45 workers, so if he can stabilize, if he can push this back, yeah, his teammate's not in a great spot right now, but he can turn this around. He has 3 bases, he has a Roach Horde being remade right now, and he does still have a better economy than his opponents, who are only just now taking a natural.
Yeah, this Oracle is going to come in here. Tugboat's going to need to do a good job of defending with the Ravager and Queen. It's the only anti-air available to him. But so far, actually not losing much. The Oracle's kind of spreading its damage across a lot of different drones instead of just picking off a few.
Hellions almost getting a little bit surrounded by some of those Zerglings. They sacrificed their life to get some extra shots off with those Roaches, but the continued rally in of these Cyclones is going to be pretty problematic very, very soon. Since Tugboat is only really making Roaches right now, this could become an awkward situation very soon. I would love if that one Viking that Centaur has, this one kind of contribution to the army, would just go after the Oracles.
Yeah, that would actually be a really smart way to deal with it. Obviously, Tugboat's going to have some fairly limited anti-air. Ooh, I think we're going to see a bit of a deadly dance between these Corrosive Biles and the Void Ray here. It's going to be so important that Tugboat is able to deal with that Void Ray before it can just kind of whittle down all of his Roaches.
Yeah, it looks like the Corrosive Biles for now just going to be hitting a lot of the Hellbats, the immobile units, as well as some of the Adepts, and kind of softening them up. Ooh, really interesting decision. Seeker and Dead from Florida gonna be going after the nearly dead Centaur, and I don't really know if I fully agree with that right now, because yeah, Centaur's contributing a little bit, but it is really Tugboat that they have to be worrying about.
I think Tugboat was just kind of allowed to get too much army, and like, I don't know how with the army they had they can engage into this. It looks like Dead's solution is going to be continue to pump Void Rays, which are a unit that is obviously very strong against the Ravager, or the Roaches rather, but it is a bit weaker against those Ravagers.
Oh man, Tugboat, he hasn't really been mining a whole lot in his main base because he hasn't had too many opportunities to actually re-drone back up. He's been making so many units and really focusing purely on that. The Void Rays could really start working away at some of these Roaches and Ravagers if they're controlled well, but got to make sure they don't lose them. I really just would love to see them start attacking these. Yeah, there we go. Force out those Corrosive Biles. Even just forcing these units back is a really nice way to buy more time.
The Cyclone of Centaur is going to come down here. It's kind of like, I helped too, Mom, sending up some of those shots against the Void Rays. They are going to fall back for now, and it looks like Florida, it's just going to assume a defensive position on the top of this ramp.
And I do think if Florida can defend against this kind of massive wave of Zerglings and Ravagers and a couple of Roaches, they won't be in the worst situation. Dead has finally established a natural that he's mining from. He doesn't have a stellar worker count, but it's still going to be enough that with the Void Rays, they could still turn this game around. But oh, those Corrosive Biles just hitting everything except for the Void Rays, which are still reigning supreme from the above. And of course, a Dark Shrine also on the way right now for Dead. I think that this is a pretty held situation. Tugboat really needs to start thinking about transitioning out that tech and maybe droning up a little bit. Tugboat has been so resistant to droning up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he probably feels under pressure because of how strong and how hard that first all-in hit, and just the fact that he's kind of, it's on him to carry the whole game because of what happened to Centaur in the early game. And I feel like that goes harder as the game goes on, because obviously 2 separate economies and 2 separate armies are going to scale faster than one army controlled by one person.
All right, well, Dark Shrine finishing up. There is going to technically be a scan available because of the command center, but it really is just going to be, I think, the Spore Crawlers and potentially eventual Overseer. But Tugboat not mining gas from that 3rd expansion. I think realizing, yeah, I just need to get as many minerals as possible, because he's making a lot of Roaches. But again, 39 workers, and Dead has actually caught up in that worker count. Maybe falling a little bit behind, as the Zerglings have the potential to get some damage done inside the natural expansion. But I just feel like Tugboat has this great advantage in terms of army, but he's continued to invest it purely in army, and that's eventually going to whittle away with all the Void Rays coming out.
Yeah, it's just so easy to get tunnel visioned when you're a Zerg. I know that many of my Zerg brethren have had the same thing happen, where you're just so focused on making nothing but Roaches and Lings, and you want to keep attacking, and slowly you let your lead slip away, but they're going in now. The Corrosive Biles are going to have to be terrific here. It's a pure Ravager, basically, hardly any Roaches, and there's a lot of DPS in this army.
Yeah, there's still potential that even if they don't hit the Void Rays, they just force them back long enough that they aren't actually doing that much damage and they're just being microed back constantly. But a lot of the Ravager shots do go down on top of the Cyclones and trying to bust down this wall, and the Ravager count is going to start to get whittled away, though, by these Void Rays. There are just so many of them. Even the Oracles can start adding in some DPS. One Void Ray does go down. Most of the ground army for Seeker has been obliterated, but again, 4 Void Rays that theoretically will not get hit very much. I'd say as they get hit.
That, the Caster's Curse kicks in, and 2 of those Void Rays take massive amounts of damage, but as long as they're still alive, they can still do Void Ray stuff, most of which consists of pushing out a huge amount of DPS from above. This army is trying to get on top of the Stargate, cut down that Void Ray production, but this army is basically gone.
And a lot of the workers for Dead were killed off. A lot of the workers for Seeker have been killed off. Dark Templar coming into the mix, and they are able to clean things up. Oh, the DTs, a massive hold, I think, right now. And if they can just continue to even just get out a couple of DTs, there's really not going to be too much of a response. That plus the Void Rays are going to be able to keep Florida alive a little bit longer. And now we have 2 players that are nearly dead, Centaur and Seeker, versus 2 players that have just been investing so much into either tech or army that they don't actually have an amazing economy, but they at least have a better economy than their teammates.
You know, Dead is floating a decent bit of money. We could see a huge supply explosion out of him if he decides to go for that gateway route. I'd be curious to see what kind of choices he wants to be making.
I wonder if it would be worth it right now. He does have the potential to start mining again from one of those gas guys in his main base. He's not actually mining from right now. I wonder if that is an intentional decision, but continuing to go for these tech units may end up actually panning out quite well for him. These DTs are going to be very difficult to deal with. The additional Void Rays are going to be very difficult to deal with. In fact, Dead not opting to, it seems like, to make anything right now. His production tab is completely empty despite the minerals and gas being bunked up. But I don't think he's really controlling or doing anything right now. Where is he spending his APM? What is he doing right now? Okay, they're starting up some of those workers and everything.
Okay, so he is going to be starting up those workers. I think Dead may actually be tunnel visioning quite a bit here on I just need to make Void Rays, I just need to make Void Rays, I just need to make Void Rays. Because we can see he wasn't really making anything until that Stargate was finished being remade, and then it was just Void Ray time. He was smashing that V button. That's where his APM was going.
Yeah, I mean, Voiders are pretty expensive to continue producing, but I would love to see Dead try and either go for a third and really start transitioning out into a super late game carrier Void Ray army, or even just get some Archons in the mix, get up that big old Death army, or have been more aggressive with the units that he had. Those Void Rays and the DTs have a potential to do damage and shut down drops. The Oracle's going to be able to get a little bit of damage done, but I really do feel like 4 or 5 Void Rays is enough to kill off a Spore Call. It's enough to start taking out or pressuring bases at least.
So I have a question. Who do you think is ahead right now? Because this is such a weird game. It's almost resistant to analysis.
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of a strange situation. I will say just the fact that the Hydra Den is finished up and now Tugboat has the potential to make Hydras, I kind of want to favor him. I also think that his teammate Centaur has bounced back a lot better than Seeker has. Seeker actually struggling to take a natural or third expansion right now. He did get up a third expansion, but his natural expansion. The third expansion is under attack from this drop, and it's not really being handled very much. The Voider is finally coming into the mix, and these Adepts should be able to clean that up, but I think that Centaur now establishing that gold expansion can actually really start pumping out some production.
Yeah, I think you're right. As you say that, 10 Hydralisks get fired up. And I think Tugboat is looking at this situation and saying, you know what? I need Hydras to deal with this Void Ray army. Nothing else. The Corrosive Biles are not ever going to deal with this. And I think Seeker and Dead are maybe going to try to find a timing window where they can hit before the Hydra count is high enough to really deal with the Void Rays.
Yeah, a lot of this, I think, is going to come down to focus fire. The Roaches and the Zerglings have to occupy these siege tanks, the Hellions, the Adepts. They need to be absorbing those shots. And even Centaur's Marines need to help out in combating those Void Rays, making sure they are not the last units alive. Because if all those Hydras die, and there aren't really any forms of anti-air, this could be a really disastrous situation. But Revelation goes down. Where are the... Okay, there is one Overseer. There's exactly one Overseer. And there's a DT or two in this army.
Yeah, but there is not the ability to flood in with reinforcing DTs. So if he can pick off those DTs quickly, he's not going to have to worry about stealth because there is no way for the Protoss to reinforce this quickly. Now these siege tanks are going to start taking pot shots at the front of these Ravagers. They do get some good damage off, but they are firing up a ramp, which is always a bit trickier to finagle when you're fighting up the ramp rather than coming down it.
Scan goes down to confirm, okay, this is the kind of army that we're dealing with. They actually see the entire army. Hellions trying to poke forward. Tugboat not actually mining that much from that 4th expansion, but he's trying to knock down these rocks over by Centaur's gold to let the Zerglings get the big wraparound. If they are able to buy enough time to get that to work, this could be a very one-sided engagement, but here we go. It seems like they have to start the engagement without the Zerglings. Void Ray is getting some good damage done. Most of them not dying, but now they're starting to eat some of those corrosive bile hits, and it seems like the siege tanks are just doing way too much damage over here.
Yeah, this is such a powerful push out from Seeker and Dead here. These Void Rays going to continue to press onward. This base is now quite vulnerable. The only anti-air left really backing it up is a single Spore Crawler, and I think Seeker's forces on the ground should be more than adequate to take care of Tugboat's third here.
Looks like the rocks are finally knocked down. Those Zerglings are going to be coming in very, very late to the party, but there's not a whole lot of defenses for those siege tanks. The 4th expansion is going to end up falling. The Zerglings don't decide to go for the tanks. They decide to go for a counterattack, picking up some of the reinforcements and obliterating the economy that Seeker's been working so hard to build up. Okay, well, those are Voiders failing to kill an orbital command because repair is a pretty damn good unit, Joe.
Yeah, I was trying to think up of a joke there, but I guess how many Void Rays does it take to beat Mass Repair? More than 5.
Well, Zerglings managed to get some okay damage done. They do finally end up falling inside the main base to a an overcharge. I'm sure they would have loved to have moved over to the natural, continue to be annoying, but they find an opportunity with the APM. Is a little bit busy. The Hydras and the Roaches clean up all of those units and are able to push out the remaining Hellbats, but looks like Centaur's economy has also been a little bit battered by that attack. Now sitting down to 18 workers. Seeker sitting down to 15 workers as he's still taking a little bit more damage to another drop from Centaur.
Yeah, well, all of this is going on, though. I think Temple's really secured the better position for themselves here. I mean, just the supply tells the tale. Tugboat sitting at 150 supplies, Centaur at 50. They're maxed out when you combine their armies, man.
The Void Rays in the center of the map get caught by the Hydras. One of them almost goes down. It seems like it is going to go down as it turns around a little bit too early. Probes also falling, and now Dead is down to 35 workers. And this expansion is going to be dead. That drop in the in-base natural expansion mostly cleaned up. That command center is so low on health. It was so close to dying, but it looks like a mule does come out and repair it up just in time to save it. Seeker keeps at least one of his bases alive.
Seeker actually managed to preserve both bases despite everything. Of course, bases are a bit more useful when you have workers to put on them, which Seeker was not really able to keep alive.
Yeah, he has 7 workers, but they're not even mining right now. 6 of them are sitting by Dead's in-base natural expansion, and I don't think he's actually remembered to put them back onto mining. Oh, that's so painful, but the Hydras and the Roaches and the Ravagers are looking to end the game right now. Joe, Tugboat sitting up at 176 supply to, I want to say his opponents, but it's really his opponent, Dead, who's sitting at 55 supply now.
And I think this could be the final game of Florida's season here as Tugboat and Centaur push up this ramp. They start knocking down all the infrastructure of their opponents, and I think they're about to close this out and move on into that round of 8.
GG gets called. Congratulations. Florida gets knocked out, and Temple University now moves on to the round of 8 of the CSL playoffs.
Yeah, big congratulations to them. And I think that with the teamwork that these guys showed, Centaur and Tugboat, I think it's only fair that we offer them the Band Together Award, which is an award from Band Gaming for people that show excellent teamwork.
Yeah, you know, it's going to sound really funny, but one of the core strategies of 2v2, in my opinion, is if you are dying and you're in a 2v2, one of your main purposes in life at that point is to die as slowly as possible. And that's what Centaur did. That is what Centaur did beautifully. And that is not always one of the most proud things to do, right? Is, okay, I'm dying, I'm accepting my fate, but I'm going to die as slowly as possible. I'm going to draw this out and give my teammate as much time as possible. And that's Centaur did that beautifully. Tugboat was able to get up a massive roach army on those 3 bases and able to eventually deflect things. And after that, Centaur not only just eventually started to bring back his economy little by little, and it suffered a couple more hits with the big attacks that came in with the Void Rays, etc. But he was able to continue to contribute to his team even after being in that nearly dead situation with drops, continuing the harassment, almost picked off a command center, killed off tons of workers. And I've got to say, Tugboat also, of course, carrying in the army, in the main army engagements with all those roaches and ravagers. Both players did a great job, and I think they are very deserving of that Band Gaming Award.
Yeah, so congrats again to Temple, who will be moving on to the Elite 8 here in the CSL playoffs. Of course, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. ASUS, they make some really great gear, everything from laptops to routers to monitors to keyboards and mice. If you're into gaming, check out their gear. They help make CSL possible. Twitch is one of our sponsors. The biggest esports broadcasting platform there is. Just say thank you, I guess is probably all they want you to do. Thank you, Twitch, for sponsoring this. And then last but not least, Band Gaming. We just gave these guys the Band Together Award. If you want to check out Band Gaming, it's in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Excuse me.
You okay there, man? Oh, boy. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It has been an absolute pleasure. Joe is apparently dying of excitement for the next round of the CSL, as the round of 8 will continue on next Tuesday, I believe, as we're going to do 2 more matches from the round of 8 next week, and then we're moving... 2 more matches of the round of 16. Sorry, excuse me. 2 more matches from the round of 16, and then we're going to be hopping to the round of 8 matches the week afterwards. And that's all going to be leading up to that awesome offline finals event for the semifinals onward.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Be sure to tune in next week. And until next time, you've been watching the CSL Playoffs.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.